Aloha, welcome back everybody to Cheddar. Music is a very powerful tool, of course, and the team behind Brain.fm is exploring exactly how certain tunes and patterns can actually make you better and more efficient at work and get more things done. So joining us now to tell us how it all works is Daniel Clark. He's the CEO at Brain.fm. Great to have you here with us, Daniel.
Thanks
you guys received a $25,000 grant from the National Science Foundation. Congratulations on that, great stuff. Explain to us how you're going to use that money, and then tell us a little bit about what you guys do at Brain FM.
Sure, so it's actually 225.
Oh, thank you,
so
thank
a little bit different.
Yeah, a little bit more.
Yeah,
yes.
so, well, first, Brain FM, we make functional music to help people focus, relax, and sleep. And it's all built on science-backed evidence, right? So, specifically for our focus music, we have the grant, and it's to help us prove that we can someday maybe be a preliminary step or a replacement for ADHD medication.
So tell us about how you can sort of be more productive in our work with this buzzing that happens.
Yeah, sure. So you're talking about the neural phase locking, right?
Right.
And basically what we do is through music, we have all of these different kinds of characteristics of sound. And we have a patented AI system that we feed it through. It actually creates the music with our composers. And through that process, we can create certain kinds of mental states for you. So what I tell people is, it's like you've had 2 cups of coffee, you have a project due tomorrow, it's 2 a.m. in the morning, and you feel like you're flying, you can do anything. That's what you have when you use our product on demand anytime.
Which is really fascinating. As somebody who has been diagnosed ADHD my entire life, used to be on a bunch of ADD medications forever, I'm fascinated by this, that you can do this without any sort of medication. But how do you actually make the music in all of this?
Sure, so we have an AI system, which I mentioned before, and it works in tandem with our music composers, some which are award-winning video game production artists. And they work in tandem with our PhD-led team of scientists to basically create these certain types of oscillations that build your brain or your brain mental state into.
And how are you supposed to consume this? Is this more of something that you would do in the morning when you're more, maybe a little bit more alert, or is this when you're going to bed, when you're a little bit more on the downside?
Yeah.
How or are you supposed to be consuming this like you would a podcast
Sure.
or music?
That's a really great question.
How are you going to be doing
So
this?
it really depends on the person. So what we tell people is to make something habitual, right? So in the morning when you wake up and you have your coffee and you sit down to answer emails, put Brain FM in and just start plugging away, right? It depends on what you're trying to do. We also have a sleep product where you put on 10 minutes before you start going to bed, and it will lull you to sleep and have you sleep better as well.
So I want to talk more about using technology to create the music, which you alluded to earlier,
Yeah,
leveraging AI and incorporating AI plus the human component to create the music. There's obviously been a lot of debate in terms of, okay, does having AI in music creation make you lose a little bit of that creative aspect, or does it allow artists and musicians to be more creative? I'm in actually the latter camp. Curious to hear what your thoughts are about that.
Yeah, so when you listen to our music, you actually can't discern a difference between regular music and our music, right? I think that it gives us the opportunity to focus on creating great music for our composers, and the AI does the heavy lifting because every single millisecond is actually synced to a certain kind of brainwave we're trying to create.
Wow, so I mean, what kind of, okay, you're working with different technologies, but what kind of scientists and people do you have behind the scenes who are syncing up those brain waves with how the music works?
We employ auditory neurosciences.
Wow.
We also have grant work with Wesleyan University, and we do different kinds of large mass testing. So we do SART testing, things like that, where people are playing music against placebo music, and we can track by like experiments in video games how fast they respond to certain types of things that come up. And we have the start of a lot of evidence to show that this is something that it works, but also works on a large variety of people.
Obviously the technology is significantly different, but how different is it from a traditional meditation sound bath that a lot of people will go to, where you're listening to particular sounds to hit with the neural parts of your brain?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the difference really is that meditation, traditional meditation music you're talking about, is more about soothing music, and it's just to make it sound good. And our music is from the ground up. Before we even think about what it's going to sound like, we think about the different kind of mental states we want to build into it. So the oscillations that you hear when you're listening to the music way in the background, those are some of the characteristics we encode into the music to make sure that it is giving exactly what you want. Focus, relax, or sleep.
So interesting. So give us a little bit of insight into focus, relaxation, the different mental states. What kind of sounds, what kind of music can you expect to get yourself into those states?
Yeah, so it's actually all different types. So we have electronic music to classical music to cinematic music. And it's just something where when you start listening to the music, you put it in, you use your headphones, and what you'll find is after 10 minutes or so, you're not even listening to the music anymore. It's just in the background, and it helps you focus on the task at hand. So it's designed not to be in the forefront of your mind and you're bopping around like traditional music. It's more designed to kind of edge it into the background and for you to concentrate.
Well, hey, you have me sold. I'm already into this. I'm already excited to try this out. While we still have you, are you looking to raise more capital outside the science grant that you've got? And then what's next for you guys?
Sure. So right now we're not raising capital at the second. We're making sure that we have a really solid foundation of technology, really solid foundation of marketing and things like that. This is actually the first time we've ever done any marketing campaigns, and we have many, many users. And what's next? We have a lot of really exciting things down the pipeline. One of those is incorporating our focus music and our sleep. So imagine you went to sleep, you had the best night of sleep you had in a very long time, and then you woke up to our focus music, so you didn't have that groggy feeling you have to shake off in the morning.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Definitely something that Baker and I will have to try.
Yes, no
so
joke.
fascinating.
Yes.
Well, thank you, Daniel, so much for
Thank you.
joining us
Thank
today.
you.
And that was Daniel Clark, CEO of Brain.fm. And that space